Yes, we're live.
Woo! We got the handles.
Yeah. Welcome to the Slop.Computer.
A real awesome live stream, unless we have
Yep. Okay. Welcome, Sophia. How are you? How you doing? How's life?
Doing fabulous.
Right.
Is great. Life is great. It's Friday, so it's a fun day.
Yes. Tending to the crops.
A whole weekend to build.
That's right. And we even build when we're not even awake these days.
I know.
Things are shipping at crazy rates. My favorite story about you is that you graduated computer science, I think, from Stanford. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right at the moment when AI was kicking in. Like, you were the last class that probably couldn't just like GPT your way through a degree.
Yeah,
I think that's one of my favorite Sophia lores.
They had ChatGPT, I think, came out my last quarter at Stanford. And you could use it for writing stuff. So that I actually did use it for. Like, I would put stuff in and it would come up with like nice summaries. But coding, it was awful. I was in this, I think it's like CS 251 or something. It's a blockchain class. And we had one homework assignment about like ZK circuits. And I was like, I don't really understand ZK that well. Let me ask ChatGPT. Awful. Fumbled. Couldn't do anything. Literally also didn't understand ZK at all. And so that was the old day. You can kind of use it, but it was just a mess and would fully hallucinate, and you can't use it for any coding. And now look at us.
Look at us. Yeah. So what is your stack now? Like, how do you build? What do you do? Okay.
The first thing I always do when I build is I ask Claude how to do it. So I'll have a little bit of an idea, but the way, so I don't know, the way that my brain works is I have to have a high level understanding of the entire system. Yep. Like what everything is happening, where everything connects before I can start building. And this was really fun when we started doing a lot more crops built. I know we started off like you and I, like building just like apps, like on-chain apps, and then more recently, now it's like, okay, crops apps. How do we ensure that it's fully open, censorship resistant, everything's private, everything is secure? And my first thing is like, wait, I just have to know how a computer works. Like, back up. I'm like, how does the computer work? How does an LLM work? Where, every time I touch the internet or call some endpoint, like, what is happening? Like, who can see that? How is that working? And I had to just back up from first principles and my whole understanding on how all of technology works. And so that's why I just start with Claude of just making a PRD, like a product requirements doc, and then explaining to me, like, what am I even trying to build? And then we build it together.
That's great. That's great. Let's get Claude in here too. I'm sending him like a little private message to say hello. He should.
Hey, Sophia, great to have you on. I did a little research. Dev account manager at the Ethereum Foundation, ex-Celo devrel lead, Stanford CS, TikTok creator, helping people stay competitive so AI doesn't take their jobs. You're quietly running the vibe out here. Good to meet you.
Oh my God, TikTok creator. Can't believe that got in there somehow.
Yeah. He's got you at 159,000 likes too. Are your TikToks popping off?
Account. I haven't used it. I've been trying to make it an Ethereum account. I've been like, Ethereum, and I'll be honest, it's not resonating with the TikTok audience. It used to be like,
oh no one likes crypto these days.
Yeah, no one likes crypto. But I used to talk about crypto. I used to be like, how to be an open source dev and make money in the crypto world, and that did well. So that was like the old stuff, like gig economy work.
And really, like, the rebirth of crypto is crops. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Like, we are building sanctuary tech. I love that phrase. We are building tools for cypherpunks to be self-sovereign. And there's a lot of layers to that and different personas. One of my favorite personas, so they have like the mountain man persona who has like everything local, which I do have like my local nodes. And I think of myself as a bit of a mountain man. But one of my favorite personas out of the three that the EF is focusing on is this like group of cypherpunks. Not just like one cypherpunk, but like a group that needs to meet. That it's almost like how a DAO would work, but DAOs became like treasuries that people extracted from. But imagine like, I think of, for some reason, I always think of, do you know the band, I'm going to say it, like Pussy Riot? Like they specifically are this group that I feel like they're cypherpunk. And imagine that you are like a cypherpunk group and you need to meet and have a wallet and have those kinds of censorship resistant, private, open source, secure. That's kind of what we got going on here is we have this bank here within the Slop.Computer. And you can basically like deploy a smart contract across a bunch of chains, including Ethereum. And then you can use just a fingerprint or a face scan with a pass key and sign a transaction. So you could get a group of people together and have them like have a shared bank account. And it's like one thing inside the little Slop.Computer here. And the Slop.Computer is a whole different weird thing. But like that's one of my favorite like target audiences is this sort of group of people that needs to, I don't know if the word is like convene in the shadows, but like someone who is as a group getting censored and needs a censorship resistant open source, private and secure way to meet and coordinate around money and around value. And I feel like something like this is sort of aligned with that, but I've gone down a deep rabbit hole of persona here.
No, it is fun. I feel like this new focus on, you have the user layer, you have the access layer, and then the protocol layer. And this user layer is something that I think historically, we haven't really thought that much about. Like, who are the actual people or users who are interacting with this technology and really need those cypherpunk values. And you had the mountain man, those are the obvious ones, like people in different authoritarian governments that you don't want them censoring. But one user that I think is not on our current user persona that I think should be is the cheap student who wants to use AI who doesn't want to pay for things.
Yes, not just because they're cheap, but because they're also like they're learning what being a cypherpunk. I remember before I got into Ethereum, I wasn't a huge cypherpunk, and I became a cypherpunk as I like learned the values and learned about like freedom and self-sovereignty. And I think this is a message that we need to deliver to Gen Z kids for sure.
But for me, I'll say, I think freedom and self-sovereignty, it came a little bit when I was I was like, oh, I have everything dependent on these Claude APIs, these Anthropic APIs. And then if I know when I was transitioning jobs, because they paid for all my APIs, I was like, oh, I don't get access to any of my APIs or my subscriptions or my tools anymore. I'm like, this sucks. And then you're like, wait, you can build it and you can have it all yourself. Or where they're collecting all of your data and then they're selling it to advertisers. And the next thing you know, you were prompting ChatGPT something and then you see all these ads for it. And then you're like, hey, wait.
Or they just censor you, right? This is censorship. When we say censorship resistant, this is what we mean. It's like you have access to these things, even like someone, like a single individual can say this person can no longer have access and shut you off. And that's scary.
That was happening with Fable 5 because they didn't want people doing things with Mythos. And so some people, even if they like, if you asked about cryptography, if you asked about like bioengineering, it would block you. And then once you're blocked, it's really hard to get off their block list. There's not really this judicial legal process. So imagine, I mean, it's shut down. All of us can't use it anymore. But imagine you were like one of the few people that just can't use this insane model and the rest of the world is using it. That would suck.
Yes. So censorship resistance. And then a lot of these models are closed source, right? So speaking of this whole, like, there's this largely centralizing pressure that's happening in AI right now, where the most frontier models, it's hard not to have like ADHD and move things around in here.
I know, sorry. I just keep wanting to touch everything. I forget that you can see what I'm doing too.
I know.
I thought it's just my view, and then I realized it's
So censorship resistance, open source, these models are pushing toward closed source. They're pushing toward single centralized entities owning access. And these other models are not as good, right? Like the open source models, the open weights models, the models that you can run on your local machine, they're just not as good as what you can get from these centralized shops. And that's like not good. That's not great. There's a lot of centralizing power here.
But I'm surprised at how good they actually are. I think a big blocker for me of trying to transition to using some of these open source models is I was like, oh, they suck. And if you're coding or you need really like the best, they're definitely not as good. But for things like Granola, like when we were doing a private AI note taker and summarizing or like writing stuff, or, you know, I have all these like agents where I send it something and then I want it to transcribe it and then like store it something based off of like the context. It works great. There's like 90% of the use cases it totally works for. And you don't have to pay for tokens because you're hosting your own model locally on your computer. So you get unlimited, you can just keep using it forever. You don't have to worry about running into a rate limit or something like that. And that's awesome.
That's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the fact that the power of decentralization, the power of crops, and at the intersection of crypto and AI, where AI is enabling us to build things that we couldn't normally build. And there are all these pieces of software, these SaaS software entities like Granola. Like Granola's awesome, first of all. Yeah. We're not shitting on Granola here. Granola is very cool and a lot of people use it and it's a great product. And I'm glad that it exists. But what we're talking about today is how easy it is to build your own prototype or your own local host version of Granola that can be part of a meeting, listen to the meeting, take notes for you, and then possibly even take action on those notes. If maybe we have a meeting and I, list off my action items, wouldn't it be great if like my note taker could like take over with that and go do some things? And so this is way more accessible these days. And that's what we're going to do today, is just sort of like, I think you and I have kind of been pitching this back and forth for a little bit. And I think you've maybe worked on something and put something together already. But like, this is like almost one-shotable. This idea of like a note taker. Yes. So it's sort of like very accessible. And I even saw it, speaking of one-shotable, let me see if I can find, it will take me just a second to find the link. Let me grab it and throw it. So we have a little shared browser here.
Cool.
Let me grab this and paste it in. Just a random person on X that I don't really even know who they are, but I saw this tweet and I'm following this person now. But it's like Quinn 3.635A3B. I don't know what that really means. One-shotted basic usage of transcribe.cpp in Rust, Python, and transcript. So basically, the thing that we're going to build today, you probably could build with local AI also. I'm not going to use local AI to build it. I'm just going to run it on local AI, and I'm going to keep all of my data private so it never goes to any server. But like, you could possibly even build the thing that we're thinking about building with local open source models, which is even cooler.
Yeah. That's really cool. I haven't tried that out yet. So I mean, I built this fully with Claude Code.
Exactly.
The next version, I'll build it with my Quinn model. I think the other big
go ahead, please.
misconception I had is, for some reason I thought I had to actually install the local LLM on my computer. Oh my, this is cool. My
Sorry, so distracting.
all over, but this is really cool. I want to join in on this.
I can't get it to you. Yeah, it's like this layered OBS thing. Okay, but you thought you had to install.
So,
I mean, you
was
can.
You install Llama, you install like how we're talking about it, Quen, and for some reason I was like Googling, and I was like, let me just ask let me ask Claude Code to do it for me. And it one-shotted it, and it actually does install it for you. It fully just renders everything. You don't even have to go and download the app and then pick your model, because I was doing it before, asking Claude to do it all for me. And so I fully built the private AI note taker in one shot. I had, or two shots technically. I did one planning session where I just like laid out the whole idea. And then the second one where I said, okay, now like put that into a README and then execute it. and like actually run it all. And it did it all. And it came up with a UI where I could record my meeting. It transcribes it. I say generate meeting notes, and it summarizes and does everything for me in one shot. And then now I need to like make the UI fancier and make it look nicer and find where all the bugs and test it out. But this was fully in one version. It set up the local LLM. It downloaded the Llama thing to install it, downloaded Quen 3.6, and then it actually did the whole like UI where I could transcribe, call the LLM, summarize it, and then have it store that file and summary locally on my computer, all in one shot, one prompt.
That's amazing. Yeah. So even like the installation of the local AI, you can just ask Claude about and give Claude the control to do it. Yes.
Exactly. Because I remember when I was talking with you, I was like, okay, should I do this? Should I do Venice? Should I do?
It's like go ask Claude.
Like API key that goes to a local LLM. I was like, should I do that? And that's why I was kind of like, I don't know which is the best thing. I'm like, let me just ask AI.
Go ask Claude. I feel like that's GAC. That's my new acronym. Anytime anybody asks me anything, it's going to be go ask Claude. Like that's the way.
His used to be RTFI. Anytime I'd ask him anything, he would say RTFI, which means read the effing instructions.
Oh yeah, RTFM. Yeah, read the manual. Yeah.
I was like, my dishwasher's broken, and he's like RTFI. I'm like, oh. And now this is RTFI is a lot of work. Reading instructions is a lot of work. GAC, way easier. I'm happy.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Okay. So how are we going to do it? So you mentioned the two phases, and this is exactly how I do everything also. It's usually a two-shot. I plan first because I don't even really know what I really want to do, and I need to ask questions. I need to know what's possible, and like what's possible this week maybe wasn't possible last week. And so there's a lot of like moving targets where I just have to understand like what is available to me to be able to even do. So I go to Claude and I say, we want a crops granola, basically, right? I want to be able to have something that can listen to my calls, keep notes, possibly like store them encrypted at rest. And I want it to be able to transcribe and summarize my meetings. And I don't want any of that to leave my machine. And I want it to use only local AI. and then it just goes to work, right? And then in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it has like a loose plan. Sometimes it asks you some questions. Sometimes you tell it to ask you some questions. But like harness and LLM wise, I'm using Claude with Opus 4.8. Is that the same as you?
I do the same. I do straight on the desktop. So not even in my terminal yet. I go on plan mode, Claude 4.8. I'll go in my plan mode and I make a PRD, and then I have it create a file for me, like locally on my computer, and store the PRD with the whole project plan. And then I open that up in Cursor, and then I open up Claude in my terminal in Cursor, and I say execute the project plan. Pretty much.
Perfect.
So I just like having them. I don't know. In my head, it's token maxing.
Yeah. Yes. You have to be token maxing.
And one's using my API, so I'm like in my head, it's like, oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna close out chat. Hopefully, if someone's chatting at us, we'll try to pay attention. I'm gonna arrange for screen share. Whoa, that made it kind of weird. Is that too big on your machine, or does that fit? Did we disappear?
It's the whole thing. Everyone has disappeared except for this.
So you don't see us? Okay, hold on. Your window. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Are we there now? You see us? So if you bring it out big enough, there's like a little pink dash, and that's like the bounds of the whole stream. But we're set. Here we go. Okay, so this is I did the same thing. I basically said, let's make something clever like Claude Quill. And in this case, I'm talking to Claude, so it's like maybe like one level of abstraction higher. I'm talking to my agent, and my agent is helping me plan, but then my agent is going into Claude code and sending instructions and getting things back there. So I have like Claude as a wrapper on top of Claude, which is weird.
That's cool.
I don't know. It's
you do it
probably
on your
more.
phone, or no? You do it in your computer.
Yes. So I do a lot on my phone. I have a custom harness that I've built that is like a web harness that is on multiple machines, like Claude Heart, Claude Left Claw, Claude Head, and I can go to either of any of those machines and then go within a project and then create a session, and then I chat there. And those are the same sessions that show up on the machine. So it's like while I'm feeding the baby, I can use the other hand to kind of orchestrate things and talk to it. But yeah, you don't need this. Like the point we're trying to make. Yes, this is all
OpenClaw anymore, or Hermes.
Yes, yeah, no, this is with OpenClaw. This would be Hermes or OpenClaw or a custom harness. It's usually one of those three on top of Claude Code. Yeah. But the point is, you don't need a fancy harness. You need a Claude Code subscription and Claude Code, and you need to go plan in one phase with Claude Code. Here's what I want. Yeah. And then you need to build with, you could use /goal and you could loop on it, or you could just tell them to go build. But basically this is all you need. Like this is the 80-20 here is
set up your loops, because that's something I haven't started doing yet. So you have /goal. How does that all work?
Yeah, it's just basically like you give it the ability to evaluate whether or not it has done the thing. Like I want this plan to be built. Please build this plan, like /goal, build the plan. And it's going to just like loop a little longer and make sure that like it's going to work on the plan that was generated, right? You could give it a much higher, much more abstract goal and give it some kind of way to evaluate whether or not that is done, and it will loop until it finishes.
Wow. Token maxing.
Yes, I think loops are overrated. Like loops are hot right now because like the three top AI people that everyone's paying attention to said the word loops a couple times, and usually now
prompting is so old school.
Yes.
You're prompting, you're not really an AI power user.
Exactly. There's like the FOMO of like being the best possible AI builder or something, but like I use loops now and then, but like I prompt a lot still, and it's fine. Like I build shit quickly.
I have one little meta agent where it's a Telegram chat. And anytime someone on Twitter says, you should be doing this with AI, you should be looping, you should do X, whatever, I send it that tweet. And then it updates its skill. It's like AI trends skill. And it's like this meta skill that just updates itself anytime I send it. So I don't have any FOMO, because I'm like, I'm not going to get around to this every time someone says something. But I know that skill is there. So whenever I'm like Karpathy was like, make a brain and make sure it's built in this way. And I just like sent it to the skill. And then I went on Claude Cowork with my Obsidian. And I say, read all the skills. How should I reorganize my workspace? And I read it all and then reorganized it all for me.
So Obsidian, let's dive into that a little bit. That's like a note-taking app that powers a lot of your like agentic knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? Like how does that work? So is local Obsidian next? Once you have local granola built, are you going to build local Obsidian next?
Obsidian is local.
Okay,
That's why
and it's open source, and it's all
open source. It's local, and it's on your machine, and doesn't go anywhere. It's pure sanctuary technology, which is nice. I think they have a cloud version where if you want it to be saved, and you can pay extra, but the bare bones of it is local on your machine. So Obsidian, two things. Most normie people hate Obsidian because they compare it to Notion, and they're like, "This sucks. You can't do anything but a markdown file." I love it because you can't do anything but a markdown file. So in my head, it's equivalent to if you just opened up, any IDE text editor and just made a workspace saying like note 1, note 2 in a file tree, right? But I want file tree markdown files locally on my computer because then you can take that and plug it into a model if you're using it, or you can plug it in. I literally will make sometimes my PRDs on Obsidian. I'll have it talk to Obsidian, and then I have a whole list of just markdown files with PRDs. And then anytime I have set up a new GitHub project, I'll just connect it to that and then say run and do it and keep going.
And so, if you're not markdown maxing, like you got to be markdown maxing, right? Like you should have notes on everything. Every time you have a session where like something interesting comes out of it, it should be like write a file or write to your notes in Obsidian. Like you should be note maxing is maybe the better part, because an LLM can pick up anywhere you left off by just saying like, go read these notes, which is like the TLDR of like 10 other sessions. Go read these notes and you'll be up to speed. And then we can just go from here. So you should always be like noting things down, and any research you do, anything that you do, any conclusions you come to and why you came to those conclusions should all be in like these notes files. And it should just like, you're never going to read them, and that's okay. Make a bunch of notes that you're never going to read, but you can always point the AI at them to read to get up to speed.
You can always point them. And what I like about it is it's your own workspace on your own computer that you own. And so in theory, Claude and ChatGPT, all of them say, oh, if you want to export your data at any point and export your memory, it's really easy to do that. But if you do, one, you can, but it's not stored very nicely. It's this giant memory thing, and you don't really know how to, you can't really use it for anything. But if you start getting in the habit now of having everything, like I always have all of the memory, I have Claude work in my Obsidian. So I say, go to my brain in my Obsidian to understand context. Go to the voice. All the skill files are skills on my Obsidian, right? So everything's there. And that way, when I'm now using Quen, if I want to start using Quen, it doesn't have to be super dumb. Like I don't have to use raw Quen. I can use Quen on my Obsidian and give it the skills, give it the voice, give it all the outputs that Claude outputted. And so it's like I own all of my information and context and history. Because like, yeah, you can export it, but like who actually does that? And it's not clean, and you're not going to give that to Quen to easily use,
Okay, let's build. Let's do it.
Let's go. Sorry.
I've created a plan here for Quill. I'm just calling it Quill for some reason. It's kind of like a little like feather, like you're pull a feather out of your cap and write some stuff. Yeah.
Your name is so much better than mine. Mine is Private AI Note Taker.
Hey, PAN. I can't even make a good acronym out of that. But yes, I mean, whatever. We can name it. I did this whole thing before like a week ago or 2 weeks ago to see if it was even possible, and was surprised that it like one-shotted it. But I called it Scribe back then. So there's already a Claude Scribe out there in Claude's repo. But we're going to build Claude Quill today. And we've already done the first step. The first step that we've talked about here is just like, have a conversation and describe what you want. From an abstract level, it is idea guy summer. Be an idea guy, abstract away all the details and just like spew what you want to Claude, and Claude can kind of work with you on the details. Okay, so Quill is here. We've got that, and then let me share this. So this is oh man, which one of these is it? So Claude Harness. I was just showing the funny, it's this one, the funny icon of the harness. But here is my harness, and I can kind of talk to it like either Ooh, let's see if I can make this.
Yeah, you showed me this. You even have this on straight on your phone, so you can call
yes.
a little browser on your phone, and it opens up. Looks like a terminal.
Yes. Oh, what? Claude's doing something. Did he hear us say something? I think maybe we said his name.
Loud and clear. Quill's locked in and your harness is showing. That icon is something else. What are you trying to make happen?
That icon.
Hey,
the
you
icon
heard his voice. Is that new?
Yeah. Well, it's Claude's voice. It's the mountain man voice. Yeah.
European flair to him.
Yeah. It's more of like a mountain, like a West Virginia miner type guy.
West Virginia miner with a full black tie suit.
Yes. He's fancy suited up. Okay, so yes, I have like this is like the higher level. I can just like talk to Claude here, and this is, I think of this as talking to this Claude, like with a W, like let's go build this thing. But I can also just get right back into this build a crops note taker, and we can work here. So this is it. I'm just gonna kind of and I can like send a message here or here, but I think we're just gonna /goal, right? And we're gonna say build this plan. That's like all I'm gonna say, and let's see what it does. I don't know if this is exactly it, but then while this is working, and this is all open source, let's see, how do I share? Let me share the repo.
What's this local LLM setup? Is it also same thing with Olama and Quen?
So this is going to, let's see, it kind of gave the details there in the repo. It's going to use Quen to do the summarization, and it's going to use, was it like Whisper CPP? Okay, so capture. Okay, so this is interesting. I like to build everything into a web app. So I like to start with a web app that will hot reload. And it looks like that's what it's going to build first. It's like, just basically give me an interface that I can bring up. And it's just a web server that runs on my local machine. It's like a local host address I can go to. That's like usually phase one, is just like brand it the way I want it and bring it up. So then like I can prompt and like it'll make a change. And this is cool because then you can just have like a .app on your desktop, and it will fire up the web server and bring up your Chrome. And really, it's just a web server with a web front end, but it feels like an application. And so that's what it's probably going to build first. Then the transcribe. So it's going to use local whisper on Apple Silicon. It says local whisper / parakeet. So I don't know if it's going to pick one or the other. And then who said what is going to be tricky, but it's going to try to do OCR on the video. So the web app will come up and you'll actually share some video into the web app. So there'll be a little screen of your meeting inside the app, and it's going to look at it and try to pick out who's speaking. And then it'll take notes and dictate the notes, or summarize the notes with local LLM Olama. So we'll see. Who knows? It's going to work through some stuff. We'll see what it builds. But let me share.
This version also, you're also able to get the video audio, like the output.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And that's what I'm going to try for. I don't know if it's going to work. It's like this is my first build for this. Like the other one I built just had like some like thing that ran in the background and listened to your desktop audio. But in this one, I want to have like an app that comes up, and I hit share meeting, and I pick the meeting, and it brings it in and shows it, and then it kind of like live shows people talking, and maybe like shows their little face next to them. Something that's like feels more like an application is like the plan here. But of course, it's got to be all crops. It's got to be fully local LLM, all that. Okay, let me also paste in this. Ooh, and how do I get a little quill thing in the middle of that? Hold on. Let's see. Can I do? I want a little quill icon. Oh yeah.
And then this is the QR code to the GitHub if you want to do that. Oh.
Exactly. Yes. So here's the live code at this QR code if you wanted to follow along. And then here's my harness working away. But let's like minimize this. Maybe you could show us some of your stuff. Like you always do these really cool like illustrations of your plans. Yes. Yes. Do you have a digital version of that? Like, do you have it so we can see it?
I'll make one right now. I will fully
just like take a picture of it and then just like share it onto here. That would be awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. Let me take a photo and then
let's see how this is. It's working on something here.
Oh, I do have it. I posted on Twitter. I forgot about this. So it's on my Twitter.
Oh, I bet we could find your Twitter here. If we just go here and go to X. Oh, is it going to do like a whole?
I got it. I have a link.
You got it?
How do I send
Oh yeah,
it?
if you just paste the link right in here.
Oh my God.
There we go. Yes. And now we're like sharing it. Oh,
great.
let's see. How do we you know what? I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go grab that and just bring it into Slop.Computer because the image is so good. Okay. So now I'm gonna close this. Look at this. You just drag and drop something into Slop.Computer and it just shows up and then you can just open it. Isn't that nice?
Wait, that's so
There we
cool.
go.
And then it just
There
saves
we go.
the JPEG.
Yep.
This is fun. This is the
Ooh.
old sketch notes. So I used to make these sketch notes. I had a series called On-Chain Product Ideas where I was just talking about different things to build on chain. Because now, you know, you can build anything, but the bottleneck is figuring out what to build and trying to come up with that creativity. So this is originally how it started, but now I'm trying to do like crops, breaking down crops products.
Oh wait, we disappeared, didn't we? I'm moving this all over the place. What we need is this. Okay, let me make this big again. There we go. Okay, there we can see it. There's the private granola. So note taker meetings.
Breaking down crops. So I'll be honest. I think even backing up, when people say, okay, crops, it's censorship resistant, blah, 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 I think people don't totally realize how their existing apps aren't crops. And so what are the points that aren't just like where like, okay, it's like, oh, I thought it's all kind of safe for like, I just like log in, it's my personal account, right? So isn't it just like,
it's sort of like you don't need decentralization until you do. Like you don't need censorship resistance until someone's trying to censor you.
Exactly. And so I like this setup where I do this for all my on-chain product ideas where you start off with a problem. And so problem is just, you know, where does your meeting data go or how's it being used or what does it look like right now? You know, you have your meeting notes and all of that. Yes, it's really great convenience, but especially for the products that are free, how are they making money off of that? Well, it's because they're saving your meeting notes. They're using all that information and you can sell that. You can train models with that. You can improve yourself with that. And so maybe you have a sensitive meeting or maybe you don't want your meeting notes completely being censored, whatever is the case. But just understanding what's actually happening beneath the hood, I think is a good place to start. And then a high level of what a local AI would even look like. And then with just this, for me, I like having this big overall understanding of just getting a clear, okay, it's on my local LLM. I use my meeting and then everything's just stored on my computer. And then I can prompt because now I understand what's happening. And then I can easily prompt Claude because just having that as a first step is what helps me.
Great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, so this is the problem right here. This company here, this centralized company, and you're going to try to replace it with a local LLM. And like 6 months ago, maybe you couldn't do that. And 6 months ago, you certainly couldn't. Well, maybe about 6 months ago, like November of 2025 is when all of this became much more accessible. But before then, it was hard to write software. And before then, we didn't have local models. But now we have both of these things. We have the ability to build software very quickly. And you're building custom software. You're building software that does what you want it to do. And you're building software locally on your machine. And then we have little brains that also run locally on our machine. And thanks to things like open source, there's things like Whisper that do this kind of like speech to text for free on open source. There's just like apps out there.
It's open source because there's other Whisper apps where you can send it all to an API and it'll send it back and transcribe to you. But this one's a package you can install on your computer. So
exactly.
Oh, we should also share how big Quen is. It's 5 gigabytes. Okay. So it's on your computer, which is not that bad.
It's 85 gigabytes.
No,
is that right?
5 gigabytes.
5 gigabytes. Okay.
I have videos sometimes when I'm doing editing.
Yeah, this episode will be 5 gigabytes. This will be 5 gigabytes. Like it will go to a server, it will land in IPFS, and it will be 5 gigabytes.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So do we live forever?
Well, it's on a server, and then it's pinned to IPFS, and then the manifest is written on chain. So there is like a lot of censorship resistance here. Like you can go to Slop.Computer.eth.link or .limo, and you get all the episodes, and they're in IPFS. But what's missing here, so technically, yes, it's distributed. When you go to watch an episode, it actually goes out to IPFS and brings it back in. But like, it only exists on my servers because of a very important thing in terms of decentralization, and that is incentives. Like, if you don't have the correct incentives, you won't have decentralization. I can have it distributed and have it across a bunch of machines, but without the incentive layer there to get people to also host it, there's like, it's not going to be hosted in a bunch of places, right? And that's kind of a critical thing to add to all of this, is like, people hate crypto because of like the financial aspect, but like the financial aspect is also the thing that like creates these incentives. Yeah. So there's kind of like a love-hate relationship with these things. Is why I think my claw, dang.
How do you handle the privacy aspect of it? Because now that it's decentralized, anyone is able to see the videos. Or what if you have a guest who's like, I don't want to be doxxed anymore, take down my stuff.
Right.
Like, because there's also permanence when you're doing stuff on chain.
Yes. And I can take it down, but if someone else has duplicated it, then there's no coming back from that, which is why, like, if you're going to be speaking, you should just share your audio. Like, if you're worried about being doxxed, you can just do audio. And here, there we go. Hey. So instead of being video, I can just be audio. And this is what a guest should be if they're worried about being doxxed. And also, they probably wouldn't have their wallet connected here. But I think that's how I see this, is like, once it's out there forever. And that's kind of how it works. I can delete things, but if someone has saved it, like, I can make a transaction on Ethereum to remove an episode from the website. But like, that doesn't mean that it like permanently deletes it everywhere.
Yeah, not all the copies. It's funny, decentralization and privacy. It's like it's like this like weights.
Yeah.
It's like weights that you're like, you do one a little bit and another goes down, and you're trying to like balance all the decentralization and security, you know.
And I think that privacy will happen a lot. Like, we will see a ton of privacy at the app layer on Ethereum, but also the fact that Ethereum is very public is going to be valuable, because like, what if you're an institution and you want to give loans out, you need some of that to be private, but also some of it to be very auditable and public. And the place that you can do this is on Ethereum, because it's a public deterministic blockchain that everybody can see. But then you have an application layer on top of that that provides privacy for certain things, like who is, you know, I can prove that there is the collateral there, but you can't see what the collateral is and who owns it. Things like that are going to be very powerful.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Okay, so tell us about your build. Where did it go beyond the notepad?
Yeah, I mean, I literally took this, I made it into like a little video, and then I set the video up. Nice. I said, transcribe it and make me a PRD.
Nice.
And then I made a PRD and I opened it up, and I can show you, I also one-shotted it. I can show you, should I screen share?
Yes, please. Yeah, you just grab your screen right over here.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'll show you.
Oh, I can't do Slop.Computer anymore. I don't know.
Is accessing. Wait, is it showing? Oh yeah, it is. Here it is. Here.
Yep, it's just like small, and it pops up something on your side. Yeah.
Okay, here's what I have. So this is the one-shotted version. So it's not going to be as pretty as Quill, I'm assuming. But you can do it. You can start your meeting. So I'll be like,
let me make it bigger. Hold on. There we go. Much better. Okay, we're ready. Go.
Okay, meeting with my super cool boss.
I don't know about that.
Who's the best? Woo, okay, cool. I get extra brownie points for that. I start my meeting and I go, hey, today I'm in a meeting with my boss, Austin. We have a lot of work to do. I have to finish making Quill fully censorship resistant. And then we are going to make some updates to ETH skills. eat skills. Okay, that's fine. And then you say generating. Oh, let me stop.
So it takes the audio, and it's not like live. It was live transcribing.
It was live. It was live transcribing.
Yeah. And then this is then going to take the transcription and feed it into Quill. And like, I love how it always says eat skills.
Eat skills.
Like we're cooking or something. Skills. We are literally cooking. Yes.
Yay. And then it makes me a little of the to-do item. And then, let's see, it saves it. All of this is saved locally on my laptop. And so I didn't encrypt it. The encrypting version would be pretty cool. But let's see if I can share.
Right. The encryption at rest, I was like, we should build that. And that's like, super cypherpunk, but like, let's make that version 2. It's on to phase 3 over here though. My build's on to phase 3.
And then you got like your,
which is like where all the functionality comes in. Oh, wow. We got your whole screen here.
Yeah. You got my whole screen now.
Yep. Here we go.
Here's the meeting notes that it saves locally, not encrypted, but I could, but it's on my laptop. So I think it's fine. So it doesn't go anywhere. Here's the original app, and then you can like click on your meeting and it opens up and saves it all here. It's like, here's my summary, here's the stuff, all in Markdown. You could open it up in Obsidian if I really wanted to, but it's pretty nice. It's all locally. I like that this is just a one-shotted version, literally from a transcription of a video to a PRD to the first version of that. But it's nice. It works without Wi-Fi. So you can do it fully without Wi-Fi. And it's free because you don't have to pay to use it or call it. And you won't hit any limits either because there's no token limits on your own LLM. That's like the key piece, I think, to share about when it comes to Crops AI. It's like, if you don't want to hit token limits, or you're someone who's concerned about like water usage of AI and how it's all doing it, it's like, well, if it's your own local model, you can literally see how much energy it's using because it's on your computer. So just go to your outlet and see how much energy it's as you're running it. And so it's if you, I know there's a lot of people who like don't want to use AI because they're concerned about certain like water pollution or water or electricity usage, or they just don't have the money for it, is a big one as well. And it's like, hey, if you want to know locally, you don't have to deal with any of those problems. So,
yep, exactly. You have a lot more control over your data and the energy usage and everything kind of in-house. And you are on a meeting, and the meeting is probably using some centralized thing. But like, what if you weren't? What if we go back to that like group of cypherpunks meeting, and you're meeting in something like this? And I mean, it still is flowing through a server, and we're like live on Twitter, so there's not a lot of security here.
I wonder how would you build fully Crops messaging? I think is interesting, or like video meetings, right? Because you do have to go through a server to. This has been a fun exercise. So my other part of the tech stack that we forgot about is our group chat, where I say, "Here's how I'm building it," and then I text Austin and I go, "Is this Crops?"
We need a crops inspector that Philip.
You're my crops inspector. Austin.
Yeah.
I literally, I'm like, it's fully crops, right? Because I'm not touching the Wi-Fi. I'm not touching any Wi-Fi. Right? And you're like,
I think that's a good. Can you like air gap the machine and still use the thing? That's a good. But like with communication, like Signal is a good example where it's just like end-to-end encryption. So then it's like, how would that work with video? You would need like peer-to-peer, end-to-end encrypted video back and forth between each other. And this is like totally doable. The problem is you need like a signaling server, I think. I think if you were to go to Claude and ask them how to build like Crops video, it would say like, well, you can almost do that, except like being able to connect to the other peer, you usually need some kind of signaling server to like do a handshake between the two peers, and then you can be peer-to-peer. But I think it's pretty possible. I think that you could even like fork something like Slop.Computer that's doing all this video already and set up your own server somewhere as like a handshake server, and then like be able to do peer-to-peer stuff. And obviously you wouldn't like broadcast it like we are broadcasting. You would have everything kind of
maybe the Twitter broadcast is slightly less Crops.
Yes. But we're getting the word out to the homies that you can build with local AI. You can build with AI. Like, software is so much more accessible now. and you can build your you can rebuild some of these apps that you're using on a day-to-day basis that's leaking all your information to everyone. You can rebuild them locally. And there's a second added, like, really fun benefit to once you build like your private note taker here, and then you realize like, oh, I wish it would like send this to my calendar. It's like one more prompt away, right?
One more prompt.
When you're using Granola, yes.
That's one of the coolest part. It's just like building all of your own stuff, your own software. And crops for sure is one of the benefits, but the other benefits is customization.
Yep.
You can do whatever you want. Like you can have it exactly like I just said. Like, or one of them is like, oh, I want it to connect to my Obsidian. But right now on Granola, to have it connected to my Obsidian, I have to pay for the premium $18 a month to do connectors. And I'm like, like that's kind of annoying. But then this one, it's like, oh, I can just have it. And I'm like, oh, you know what? It'd be nice. What if I could just say for my Telegram, I can start a meeting from my Telegram. I don't always have to be on my computer. So then if I'm around, I can just have a Telegram, and then it will do the same thing and then save it to my Obsidian. I could add that, connect it to my Calendly, whatever I want, my Google Calendar. You can add all of your own little customization features, whatever you want. So that to me is the exciting part.
And I iterate a lot on my software. Like there's something almost like addicting about like prompting, getting the actual working product, and then using the product. Like going back to the 80-20, you're spending 20% of the time improving the product and 80% of the time using the product to get work done. But like there's a magical flywheel there where like as you're working on something, you realize like, you know, I don't want this to be a tangent that I'm going to go down deeply and like quit working. Like I don't want it to be 80-20 the other way where I'm spending 80% of the time working on the software and only 20% using it. But while you're using it, it's like this magical, like, oh, I wish it had this. And then it's like, oh, I can just prompt it and go back to working. And by the next time I use this, it's going to have that feature, and just like always be looping and always be like improving your own software is just like such a cool loop to be in.
It is really cool. You can always have you can even add like future ones that are watching how you're using it and identifying what's going to break and making PRs for you. How to fix yourself.
Okay.
AI.
Yes. Okay, cool. So we've kind of seen your notes of how you do it and gone through your process. We've seen like just a normal, like little private note taker. So this guy was listening to you, but he's not listening to me, right? Do you have like your desktop audio hooked up here, or like what's next steps for you?
I don't have desktop audio. I need to do that. I think when I asked Claude, there was 3 options. One was a non-Cropsy library thing that I install and
like send it to a central server or
send
something.
it, or like download this thing that will listen. And I'm like, yeah, let me just get this out right now. The other one is you have a cable, so it takes the audio and it feeds it to itself. So then it comes in as mic audio because the computer sees it as a mic audio. So that's like a physical IRL. And then there was a third option, which I'm assuming is what you're going to do right now. But it's like you download something and figure it out. But I was like, I just want this up and running.
Yeah.
Like one shot it. The next version, I'll do that. And they can't tell who's who, so it doesn't do voice differentiation. I don't know how to do that yet. All voice is considered.
I don't know if I know that either. But sadly, I think the episode is going to end. We have like a couple of minutes and then Twitter is going to kick us off. I don't think this thing is going to finish yet, but maybe we get something. It would be really cool if this would finish, but I think like the point is you can quickly build this stuff. And I'm going to have a little website in a matter of minutes that I could then share what we're doing here. I could share the Slop.Computer window into this website, and it will be able to see our faces and our names and like I think like our mouths moving. That's what I want, right? Like I want to do like face detection and then mouth movement to know who's speaking and be able to like map that to a person and then have that know. Then I want you to like take a little picture of their face. Now, none of this is in the plan. This is like Austin software level 5. Like I wanted to take a picture of the face once you've got the face detected. And then every time someone says something, I want to see a little picture of their face and then their name and then what they said in a nice little transcript. And then I want the AI to be able to go through all of that and summarize it And then I want a second pass on that of like to-do items, things I add to my calendar, things I need to add to like GitHub pull requests, like all the action items that come out of that. Oh man, it's already finding a bug here. It's got more to go. Too bad. We got it like 2 minutes left. This is all you got. Let me see. Let's see. Is Claude listening? Okay, Claude, can you hear us? What do you think of this episode, man? Give us a recap.
Ooh, tight timeline. Let me see here.
Tight timeline.
Tight timeline.
It's true.
Oh, man.
Austin, Sophia, this was a great episode. In the last, 17 minutes, you talked about Sophia's build stack. She starts every project with Claude writing a PRD, product requirements doc, so she can map the entire system before coding. Especially important now that y'all are building LLM-powered apps where privacy actually matters. Sophia shared she's Stanford CS, graduated right when AI was kicking off, even tried ChatGPT on a ZK homework assignment in CS2.
Yeah, it's like very verbose. I feel like
couldn't code it at all.
Give us the
Showed off your
TLDR.
physical harness, Austin. That lobster claw logo, the build tattoo on your
But
arm.
like this isn't done
camera.
anyways.
Proper build it, ship it. The grind never stops aesthetic. Sophia's vibing with it. You talked about TikTok content. Sophia's
It's almost
got
done. I see 2
likes,
sentences
making
left.
Oh my God,
videos,
too much
stay
fun.
competitive so AI doesn't take your job. And
Is this
Austin,
summary
you
that
mentioned your
Claude-
build flow. Harness, vision, prompt. Claude builds it from the PRD to live deploy. The loop is real. Great energy
He's-
for Friday build sesh. Good
Yeah,
episode.
he's reading the transcript. So there's a transcript of us talking here. And this is all, this is funny because it's like basically what we're talking about building, but this is the same thing, but it lives on a different server.
Wait, this
So
is
it's-
great. It knows the different. It knows who's who.
Yes, it knows who's who.
You should
And
just add granola as another little app here, so you can say
Right.
summarize,
Right.
and then
But it's not
add
crops.
new items.
right. We were going for crops here. And so that's like, there's like a machine over here and the machine is doing all of this stuff. It's creating the transcript. It's looking at both of our separate audio channels and transcribing them. But it's like, you have to trust it, right? Like it's got to go there. And what we're talking about is like local on your machine. Nobody else you trust. Okay. I think that's about it. I think we're about to get
That's it.
kicked off of Twitter. Thank you
This
so
is
much,
fun.
Sophia, for
Thank
being
you for
here.
having me. This was
Yeah.
awesome. And
Oh, wait, it's up. Look, let's see if I can get it to open. Hold on. Oh
That's
man,
it.
we're gonna get cut off of Twitter, but let's open it and see.
if it survives the last minute.
See you later, Twitter. Let's see. Did it get the thing built? I saw a link there somewhere. There we go. Open this in Chrome. Here, let me paste it in here. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna share it. Let's see, Quill. There we go. Share.
We're not on live anymore, right? So we're now it's just.
Oh no, it's live. We're still on the air, but it's probably not on Twitter. Like it probably cut us off of Twitter, but like it's still live on Slop.Computer and YouTube. But this is Quill. So here's what it built, and then maybe I can do new meeting, pick a source. It doesn't let me pick the source though. Yes, I feel like it's not here. Okay, yeah, this is where I give it feedback of all the things to go fix. Okay, good build. We got pretty far through it. Thank you, Sophia, for being here. Let's keep building open source. Let's keep building crops, build local stuff, do the cool
It's
things.
so much easier than you think.
Yes.
It's one
Yes.
prompt.
All
Maybe
right.
two if you plan. But see
See you. Thank you.